Good evening. Welcome to Take on Tech, your number one tech show that keeps you updated on all matters technology. We have so much in store for you today. I hope you're all buckled up. My name is Stephanie Ayieta, and the hashtag is Take on Tech. Thank you for joining us. As you know already, it is a pleasure having you around. So let's get the show started already. Well, amid the ravages of climate change, hard-hit lands are coming out to ask wealthy nations such as the US for compensation, saying that they're responsible for a majority of the emissions. And we are asking you, what are your thoughts on this? Talk to us at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag #TakeOnTech. And as you do that, we'll keep you updated with what has been happening in the tech world. Also, more information into that question of the day. Again, we're going to tell you why France has fined Google and Facebook, which is now owned by Meta. This and much more in our Tech News Roundup. French regulators have hit Google and Facebook with fines totaling 210 million euros over use of cookies. Data privacy watchdog the CNIL said both sites were making it difficult for internet users to refuse their online trackers. Consent for the use of cookies is key to the European Union's data privacy regulation and a major priority for the CNIL. The social media firms have 3 months to comply or face penalties of 100,000 euros for each day of delay. Cookies are little packets of data that allows web browsers to store information and provide, for example, targeted ads. In its statement, the Commission Nationale Informatique Libertés said it had found that while the tech giants provided a virtual button to allow the immediate acceptance of cookies, there was no equivalent to refuse them as easily. Google, which was fined 150 million euros, said they understand their responsibility to protect the trust that people have given them to respect their right to privacy and keep them safe, and are committing to further changes and active work with the CNIL in light of this decision. Facebook, on the other hand, said it was reviewing the decision to fine it 60 million euros. Throughout 2021, a slew of hurricanes, floods, and forest fires brought one fact into sharp focus. The climate crisis isn't a problem for the future, it is a problem for right now. In the US and across Europe, many are just walking to this realization, but countries in the developing world have been feeling the effects of global warming for years or even decades. Until 2021, loss and damage was a niche concern, often sidelined and pushed off the agenda in climate talks by wealthy countries such as the US and in Europe. These countries, historically responsible for the majority of emissions, are being asked by small island states and other countries in the global south for compensation, and they don't want to pay. Pressure is building, and 2022 could well be the year real progress is made on loss and damage. An important outcome of the Glasgow Climate Pact was the inclusion of a loss and damage dialogue, a 2-year process in which funding will be discussed. This isn't a sudden sea change, it's been a long and slow road to get wealthy countries to recognize their complicity. The next step is to transform this dialogue into funding. Well, that has been our tech news. More into matters of climate change. They say that just with the right fundings, they'll be able to make up for the damages caused by the human-induced climate change. But losses caused by this climate change cannot be compensated. Which brings us to the question of today. We are asking, what do you think about the developing nations coming out to ask the wealthy nations for compensation? Talk to us at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag #TakeOnTech. And as you do that again, we'll take you to our Tech of the Week. Much of our online lives have been programmed from what you buy to what you see on social media. It doesn't It doesn't just happen, and this is owed to algorithms. So what are algorithms and how do they work? Well, we tell you just that in our Tech of the Week. Here it goes. Everything you see online, through search, and in social media has all been decided by an algorithm. Algorithms at their basic level are just a set of instructions. Imagine a robot assembled in a factory. It's made by computers following a set code of instructions. So if the eyes of the robot are yellow, the computer paints it red. But if the eyes are gray, the computer knows to paint it blue. Algorithms online are also based on the if this, then that principle. Take your social media feeds, for example. They are told to give you content that you like to keep you online. The algorithm notices that you like dogs, then it shows you more dogs. If you click on one breed, then it makes sure you see more of them. A map algorithm can see every way from point A to B. It can choose the shortest route, but also help you miss traffic jams. All of this is done in seconds, often using huge amounts of data. But more surprising is the widespread use of algorithms in our everyday lives. So, should we become more wary of their power? Well, their use is becoming more widespread because computers are playing increasingly important roles in so many aspects of our lives. The How Stuff Works explanation puts it across like this. To make a computer do anything, you have to write a computer program. To write a computer program, you have to tell a computer step by step exactly what you want it to do. The computer then executes the program following each step mechanically to accomplish the end goal. When you are telling the computer what to do, you also get to choose how it's going to do it. That's where the computer algorithms come in. The algorithm is the basic technique used to get the job done. With so much of our life played out online, critics are calling for more transparency about how algorithms work. That has been our Tech of the Week. Now you know about algorithms. We now move on to our interview segment with the lovely Grace Githaiga.
Thanks for that introduction, Stephanie. You're watching the interview section of Take on Tech, a weekly program that comes to you via KBC Channel 1 and breaks down technological concepts and debates in an untech way. Now, in today's interview section, we would like you to meet Kenya's first ever data commissioner. Her name is Immaculate Kassait. Karibu sana, Commissioner.
Thank you, Grace.
Now, who is a data commissioner? What do we need to understand about critical data issues and this office? So, Immaculate, welcome to the program. Please begin by telling us, who is this data commissioner?
Thank you, Grace. I don't know whether you want to say, I say who I am as a person.
You can say who you are and then you tell us the
Yes.
role, yes.
Okay. My name is Immaculate Kassait, as has been introduced. I am a lawyer and an advocate of the High Court. And we are based at, as a data commission, we are based at Wayakiwe. Temporarily, we are being hosted by CA. With time, we'll move to our premises in Britam Towers. So, Grace, thank you for the question about who is the data commissioner. Just to put it in very simple language, assuming that for a common mwananchi to understand, the data commissioner, for lack of a better word, is the police of data. In today's world, we continue to share a lot of our information. And you see, we don't ask what the information is for, whether it's my name, whether it's my address, whether it is my family members, whether it is property I have, whether it's my IP address. I mean, so the role of the data commissioner is to make sure that that information that is being collected by different institutions is safeguarded, that nobody is using your information for a reason which has not been agreed on, or not for a reason that is not legal or legit, and therefore to make sure that people are complying to make sure your data is safe. Mm-hmm. That is the reason why the data commissioner's office exists, to protect your information in accordance to the Data Protection Act.
Yeah, you raise a critical point there that, you know, for example, we just walk into buildings. I'm sure maybe even in your office we will come and we'll be asked to write our name there, to give our ID, sometimes to even leave our ID with a guard at the entrance, and we never question. Do we have a right to question?
Of course, you do have a right to question, but just to because that's one of the issues that has come up about buildings. It's actually a requirement under the security regulations that when you walk into a building, they're supposed to ask for to identify yourself, and when you exit, they also record the time you exited. The role, therefore, for the data commissioner is to begin asking, providing a framework for security agencies so that we're not collecting too much information, and also giving an assurance in terms of how that information is being stored and kept. Yeah, and really we are here to have this, to help you. And just, Grace, if you allow me, the reason data protection is important, if we could trace back, because in other countries it's been ongoing, especially Europe, everyone has talked about GDPR. We've seen in African countries increase in terms of people ratifying data protection. You might ask yourself, why data protection? Before we come to the legal framework, data protection is important because of identity theft. That's one of the things that if you don't keep your information well, especially online, somebody could easily take your information and misuse it. Even perhaps use your debit card, use your credit card, and that's your personal information. That is one. The other important thing that I need to insist is an issue around discrimination. If your data is misused, you could be discriminated against. And I like an example that was given. Assuming you are looking for a job and your HIV status is private to you. If your HIV status is known by the employer, then they say, no, we can't give you this job because of your HIV status. You see, in that sense, you're being discriminated. Or your genetical composition, then they say, no, we can't give you this job because of, yet they are not supposed to use that information. The other one, I could give an example, is perhaps you are taking an insurance cover, and they say, Grace, they do an analysis without using artificial intelligence. They look at your records, your hospital records. The hospital has probably shared with the insurance company that information. And they analyze, they say, Grace, month 1, she was ill. Month 2, she was ill. Month 3, she was ill. So this Grace is high risk. And therefore, we better increase her premium. On that basis, you've been discriminated against because of somebody accessing your information. So the importance of data protection is to come and protect that information. So, but contextualizing it to Kenya, if I can quickly go through it. Why is data protection important? One is a constitutional right. The right to privacy is well articulated in the Constitution. Beyond that, the Data Protection Act 2019 actually that is how the right to privacy has manifested itself. And most importantly is the blueprint, the digital blueprint. One of the cross-cutting issues, as we know, IT is seen as an enabler under Vision 2030. One of the cross-cutting issues in the digital blueprint is data. And since it's a cross-cutting issue, you are expected to, it was therefore important to put a framework and an office to be able to protect that data.
Wow. Very interesting conversations because, you know, like the issue of discrimination is real. I'd never thought about it that way, although I have suffered from a health insurance. So you know, they said I was a liability. Like you said, I had been in hospital for too many times. Anyway, that's a story for another day. And I think that will be one of the tasks that you will have to undertake. Now, you have been in office for close to 2 years. Have you started interacting with wananchi? Is there any awareness, like the level of awareness of the office?
That's a good question. We are slightly over 1 year, 2 months now. We came into office. The Act, yes, 2 years. The office since 2020, November. Coming to that, I'm really happy for this opportunity by Kiktanet and KBC to come and speak to wananchi. We are in the process. initially we had not had that opportunity to actually reach out to wananchi. We have been talking to wananchi through one regulation and a lot of webinars, but we do appreciate that wananchi is on the ground. And for us is we are looking into opportunities of partnership so that we are able to go to every single county if possible. We had said would like to, one of the reason where there was a limitation, we are hoping by the time we have regulations, so that we are speaking from a point of regulations. To also have a roadmap, but we have a roadmap now clear. We know where we want to go, and that is why I'm happy about this partnership and looking forward to other partnership, because I believe that the issue about awareness creation cannot be left to the office of, it's too important to be left to the office of the data commissioner. We need to look at it from a champion perspective, partner with civil society organization, partner with data controllers and processors, that's organization, because even them as data controllers and processors, they also have a clientele. They're the ones who serve these customers, whether they are telecoms, whether they are banks, whether the insurance company. Yes.
Okay, Take on Tech takes a short break. Today we are talking to Kenya's Data Commissioner, Immaculate Kassait, and she's talking to us about data protection issues and what you as a citizen need to understand as the basics of data protection. Please continue following us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1 across all our media handles. Keep watching. You're watching Take on Tech, a weekly program that brings you technological concepts and debates and breaks them down in an untech way. And today we are talking to Kenya's first ever data commissioner, Commissioner Immaculate Kassait. Let me take you back to the point about the cases that you have handled.
Yes.
The over 400 cases. Have you been able to analyze, for example, the sectors that people are complaining about?
Yeah.
I know you've talked about the political parties, but what are the other sectors?
The other one is around digital lending. Those are the two that we have, we've had majority of the cases. The rest are either HR issue or unsolicited messages. Those are the kind of cases we have had. And on that particular issue of digital lenders, we've had several meetings with them. And they were very clear. It's important. We are happy that the CBK Act has been amended, because now it's a requirement that anyone embarking on lending money has to make sure they are embracing the data protection. We are keen to have partners so that they are also informing their lenders. But most importantly, like I said very recently, people in Kenya, we as Kenyans need to start safeguarding our information, because some of these applications which are being churned out faster than you can imagine. We are blessed as a country in having techies. You will be amazed that at how much they are developing every single day, and it's a great thing. Being proud to be Silicon Savannah. However, who are the people they are targeting? So you go into an app, for instance, and this app is either, whether it is for money or otherwise, or betting, and they ask you, what is your name? Immaculate. Where did you go to school? Chinga girls. Where did you go to university? X. Where do you live along this road? Where do your parents? In fact, my parents, even volunteer. I have a photo. Well, how old are your children? They are here. We even forget about protecting those children.
Right.
So one of the challenges you find in that kind of space, it's we as Kenyans are sharing too much information. And my clarion call is, we need to stop sharing information without asking why.
Okay. In fact, that issue of the amount of information that is being shared, we'll come back to it later. That brings us to the end of part 1 of this conversation on data protection in Kenya. We will continue next week with the same conversation. Please continue following us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1, across our social media handles, where you can even ask questions, and we will continue next week.
In now jump to our Innovators Club. In this segment, we bring you great technological innovations and inventions. We have brought great minds in this show. And if you're one and you'd like to be featured, well, we are here to show off your great works to the world. Just DM us. And for today's show, we have a do-it-yourself hack which you can do at home with minimal resources. Check it out. We have come to a close of today's show, but it doesn't end here because the conversation is still ongoing. You can talk to us on our social media platform answering the question that we asked today, which is, what are your thoughts on how the developing nations that have been hard hit by the climate change are asking for compensation from wealthy nations who they blame for the climate change? Talk to us at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag TakeOnTech. You can also get me at Stephanie_Ayieta on Instagram and Stephanie Ayieta across all other social media platforms. Let's meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, it's a wrap.